What's up, guys? In today's video we'll be looking at the customer churn dataset for SyriaTel. And just for some background knowledge, SyriaTel is a Syria-based cell phone service provider, and the dataset shows the data of their American customers over the course of a month. And first of all, I'm going to talk about a couple differences between the churn customers, which are the customers who left the service, compared to the retained customers, which are the customers who stayed with the service. So the average churn customer makes 5 voicemails a month, and the average retained customer makes 9 voicemails a month. And the biggest correlation is that the churn between customers who leave and customers who stay is that churn customers make more calls to customer service, with 56% of customers who leave make 2 or more customer service calls, compared to just 42% for those who stay. And some conclusions that I've been able to draw from this is that customers who leave make more customer service calls, fewer but longer calls, and fewer voicemails than the customers who stay. And there is no strong correlation between what part of the country the customers are from. It's not really strongly correlated with anything. This graph here shows the correlation between average daytime minutes and per month and what part of the country they're in. And as you can see, we've got a slight dip in the northwest, a slight bump in the southeast, but it's more or less the same. And because the customers who leave make more customer service calls on average, it should be a priority for the employees to focus on providing quality customer support. That's why I've got this customer service meme here. And now talking about the features. So this graph shows the feature importance of all of the features. And what feature importance is, it's just a mathematical representation of how much the machine learning model is able to learn from each feature, from knowing the value of each feature. So as you can see down here on the bottom, we have international plan and voicemail plan. These are very important factors. Total day charge, which is their charge for their daytime calls, and total daytime minutes, and the customer service calls are really big factors. And now we'll talk about the model. So I chose to use the gradient boosted and the gradient boosted and extreme gradient boosted random forests, which are the GB and the XGB right here. And the reason why I chose these is because they have really good test accuracy, but what's also really important is that the train accuracy and test accuracy are close together, because the farther apart these two are, it becomes a sign of overfitting, which means that the data is basically, the model is basically memorizing the training data but not actually learning from it. And here's the result. So on the left, this is the data. This is the model that we just threw the data at the model and it had to predict, and it did all right. The accuracy is really good, but accuracy in this case is very misleading because about 85% of the data is a zero, meaning they're not churn. So if 85% of the data is a zero, and the model is trying to predict whether something's a 0 or a 1, it's pretty much, it could just label everything as 0 and still get 85% accuracy. So accuracy is very misleading. So we are going for a recall because we are trying to prevent ones, or it is our goal for ones to not happen. So we want to predict all the ones basically all the ones we can, so we see the churn coming. We can predict it before it's coming. And recall is the model's ability to label ones as ones. Like, what percentage of what's supposed to be a 1 is actually getting labeled as a 1. And down here we've got about 2/3 of the data of the ones actually getting properly labeled. And after normalizing the data and resampling the data to improve model performance, we ended up with 86% recall down here on the right, which is definitely an improvement. And I actually got recall all the way up to 94% after creating engineering 3 new features. Basically means I just made up 3 more features, and it was good because the recall did increase to 94%. However, it started predicting a lot. It started labeling a lot of zeros as ones, which we don't want. We don't want that either. And with more time to work on this, like I think a great follow-up project would be to make a classifier that could help customers figure out which plan is best for them, whether they should use an international plan or not, for example, because a lot of customers that left had international plans, although they didn't make any more international calls than the average customer. And this could also offer a personal touch, which would hopefully prevent customer churn. And that is the end of my presentation.